Hey everyone, David here. This is a bit of a pickups video. Right. I have here with me the Colony Wars trilogy. Yes, that's better. Vengeance then Red Sun. Yes, the Colony Wars trilogy. This is one of my favourite trilogy of video games. Actually, I just picked up Colony Wars, the very first game, on eBay. Didn't even cost me £5. Right, story behind Colony Wars. It's the 5th millennium. Humanity is pretty much spread throughout the applicable known universe. Human society is basically a dictatorship ruled over by an individual called the Tsar. Tsar controls everything, complete authoritarian dictatorship. And as humanity spreads out, humans in the, people in the colonies, as it spreads away from Earth, humanity spreads away from Earth, basically begin to revolt against the Tsar's leadership. And they form, an ideology calling itself the League of Free Worlds. The League of Free Worlds revolts against the Earth Empire back on Earth, and that's pretty much the setting of the games. Colony Wars, the first game in the series, you play as a League of Free Worlds pilot, and it's the story of how the League fight back against the Empire. And it starts off with Galania, which is the home system of the League of Free Worlds, getting attacked. You push the Empire back out. And it's a case of you pushing them all the way back to Earth. And it's chronological. One game goes into the other. And at the end of the game, the canon ending is that the League of Free Worlds seals a jump gate, which is kind of like a warp system. They seal Sol's jump gate and effectively seal our solar system off from the rest of the universe. And that neatly leads me into the second game in the series, Colony Wars Vengeance. This is set 100 years after the warp gate is sealed, and you play as a pilot called Mertens. And essentially, what's happened is the solar system has fallen into complete anarchy. You know, no government, no actual. You never find out what's actually happened to the Tsar. Complete anarchy. And then an individual called Kron comes along, and he basically resurrects the Imperial fleet and the Imperial ideology. And it's the story of how the Empire breaks back out of Sol and goes back after the League. And this is a bit of a spoiler. It turns out at the end, Kron was once a League of Free Worlds pilot. He was purposefully sent on a suicide mission in the final days of the original game that he was set up to fail. He was a psychopath. And what happened was, you've essentially been a pawn in his revenge plot. You know, get back to Galania so he can get his revenge on the League. You know, you're superfluous in the end. This is a very good game as well, you know. Very consistent gameplay, you know. You like space games, I really can't stress this enough. You will not be disappointed with the Colony Wars games. And this is the final game in the trilogy, Colony Wars Red Sun. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of your character, but it's set some point in the war between the League and the Empire, and it's set up in this system, which I've forgotten the name to, I'm afraid to say, and it's this Empress who's built this massive spaceship called the Red Sun. And here's the problem, I've never actually completed this game, so, you know, I have to say I don't know what happened in the end. You'll have to kind of Google that yourself. And Colony Wars, the games themselves, they're from a different time of gaming. That's the way I look at it. You know, all these genres of games that I grew up with are now dead. Or, you know, if they did them today, they would be profitable. And Colony Wars, as in, you know, the space opera and the space sim, is very much one of those games. And I think it's a real shame. These were really strong games. I mean, yeah, the missions could get repetitive. It's a case of protect something or blow something up, pretty much. But it was so immersive. You were drawn into this conflict, this world so well, you almost didn't mind. Now, the Colony Wars games themselves were developed by a company called Psygnosis, which would eventually go on to be bought out by Sony and become Sony Computer Entertainment Liverpool. They've since shut down. I think about 2011, 2012, Psygnosis was shut down, and it's a real shame. not just Colony Wars, Psygnosis, the amount of Atari and Amiga ST games they did back in the 80s and 90s. You mean Shadow of the Beast? Oh, Shadow of the Beast is the real only game that springs to mind at the moment, I'm afraid. But yeah, Colony Wars games, you'd be doing yourself a very good favour to pick these games up. You know, you definitely won't be disappointed. So that's pretty much it on the Colony Wars games. This is David signing out.